Hello, and welcome to the Stevens Center at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts. Please take a moment to locate the emergency exit nearest you, keeping in mind that the nearest exit may be behind you. The use of audio, video, and photographic equipment is permitted. However, please refrain from using flash photography. Please silence all electronic devices and refrain from texting. In order to support live streaming of this ceremony, we have temporarily disabled public Wi-Fi. We ask that you remain seated during the processional. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the University of North Carolina School of the Arts Platform Party, faculty, and graduates from the class of 2017.
Good morning. I am Professor Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. Our school, I need a longer beard. Our school has often been compared to the fictional Hogwarts of the Harry Potter novels, and you can easily see why. We have no shortage of wizards on our campus, and their magic keeps us spellbound. Even something as simple and basic as a graduation robe takes on color and vitality in their imaginative hands. The robes I wear today were created by members of the School of Design and Production students, faculty, and alumni, led by our director of the costume program, Bill Brewer. No black poly for these guys. The coppery brown is the official degree color for the fine and dramatic arts. The green is a subtle nod to our mascot, the pickle. The medallions are on my sash represent each of the arts disciplines on our campus. And because our friends in D&P are detail-oriented perfectionists, they even embroidered the inside of the cap with a little gherkin, which I don't know that you all can see. It is regalia that is as beautiful as it is symbolic, and it epitomizes the creativity and industriousness that defines the University of North Carolina School of the Arts. I am proud to wear them, and prouder still to be a part of this incredible institution, which graduated its first class, fondly known as the Golden Pickles, 50 years ago in the spring of 1966. Today, we celebrate the Fighting Pickles on this stage, the undergraduate and graduate class of 2017. And to begin, it is my pleasure to introduce Marty Kotis, representing the Board of Governors for the 17 constituent campuses of the University of North Carolina. Marty has been a member of the Board of Governors since 2013 and is a great friend to our school. Please join me in welcoming him.
We get to sign up for various commencements, and having been here a few years ago and seeing this, I couldn't pass up getting some more pickles. So, and to see Chancellor Bierman in his fine regalia, which has been a legend across the system. And while we're at it, why don't we acknowledge Chancellor Bierman for his wonderful efforts with the school. We're all thrilled with his work so far. I've got a couple of favorite commencements that I've attended. One was a commencement at UNC Pembroke, where you had a Native American flutist leading a ceremonial march through, and I felt like I'd been transported to another spiritual plane, very Zen-like. And this commencement, the last one I attended here, at the other end of the energy spectrum, this feels more like an enthusiastic celebration of world-class talent mixed with maybe a TED Talk combined. Your creativity, your blatant individualism, your confidence, obvious confidence, and passion really come through, and it's contagious. It makes us all aspire to be better. We all expect to see your names attached to brilliant projects, fascinating works of art, innovative ventures in our growing creative economy. But more importantly, we hope you'll spread your infectious creative spirit and bring joy to the people of the state, which is exactly what this fine faculty of the school have done for you as your mentors. They're remarkable teachers in every part of this school, and as a token of appreciation, we recognize their contributions through the Board of Governors Award for Excellence in Teaching. Established in 1994 to emphasize the critical importance of teaching and reward great teachers and mentors across the university system, the awards are given annually to a tenured faculty member from each of the schools. It's my great privilege this year to recognize Dr. Joseph Mills as a recipient. Dr. Mills and Chancellor Bierman would come forward. Quoting Dr. Mills, he says, "I hope that I give my students the materials and create an environment to get them fermenting. And then I try and get out of the way. I don't know what they'll bring in or what they'll say, and this makes me anxious. But I'm struck by their curiosity, intelligence, and creativity when given the space." Probably a lot of the parents in this room feel the same way about their kids. Dr. Mills is an accomplished author, having written 6 collections of poetry, including the wonderfully named Exit Pursued by a Bear. Unfortunately, there's not a stage direction saying BOG member Exit Pursued by a Bear beneath that. He writes essays and criticisms for a variety of publications, bringing his critical eye to everything from short stories to film. He also wrote a guide to North Carolina's wineries, which I told him he deserves an extra medal for that. Dean Wilcox, head of the Division of Liberal Arts, wrote that Dr. Mills approaches his classes not as lectures or seminars, but as collaborative explorations in which he examines the material alongside his students, empowering them to develop their own insight and opinions. What a great compliment. For that and many other reasons, I'm glad to honor Dr. Joseph Mills with this year's award. In honoring him, we also recognize the faculty members across the system that teach over 225,000 students throughout the University of North Carolina.
This is a really humbling award, and I have to say, as someone who saw the original Raiders of the Lost Ark in a first-run movie house, to be given a medallion is thrilling. So, the poet Theodore Rothke, he said that teaching is one of the few sacred relationships left in a crass and secular world. The church and the temple, the synagogue, the classroom, the theater, these are still places that we expect the cell phones to be turned off and to pay attention. And these are still communal places where we think we may get some kind of illumination as we engage with each other. Rothke calls teaching a relationship. You literally cannot do it alone. So when I'm in an empty room kind of muttering and gesturing to myself, that's not actually teaching. I also try to answer as quickly and honestly as possible when my students ask if an upcoming course is going to be good. And I say, I don't know. There is not a single teacher who designs a course thinking, yeah, this is really going to suck. You know? You know, just as no one sets out to make a bad movie or do a poor production, it's just there is so much that can go wrong. And when things go right, they usually go right because of the people involved and how they work together. So there are no good teachers without good students. And there are no good teachers who are good for a sustained period of time unless they're around colleagues and other good teachers who give them an inspiring example, who will give them advice, who will tell them, yeah, you may not want to go ahead with that idea. Right? Education is a set of symbiotic relationships, and we learn from one another and with one another. I don't teach because I have things I want to say. I teach because I have things I want to understand. And that understanding changes over time. Last fall, I had a student who emailed me, a former student, and he said, you know, now that I'm a father, I've totally changed my thinking about that literary character. It took 10 years from him to take that course, but he finally agrees with me. And I emailed back and said, well, you know, it's funny because my thinking about that character has changed as well. And this is probably a good time to tell the students who have had courses with me, this is the time to defriend me, to block my email if you don't want to keep getting links and observations about courses that we've had together, because we're not done, all right? This is called commencement because it is the start. The classroom walls are the scaffolding of an education. And now that scaffolding is being removed, but the education continues. It continues for all of us. Thank you.
of the Board of Trustees, I bring greetings from the board for all who are assembled here today. This is a record number of graduates on stage at the Stevens Center, which says a lot considering the age of this theater. My special thanks go out to DMP for doing the math and telling me it's safe up here under this load. The Board of Trustees engages in robust discussions, not only in our scheduled meetings, but in all our conversations about the school to ensure that UNCSA itself is a robust conservatory. By many measures, it is. See page 5 for at least 34 such statistics. But more important than the statistical abstracts are the individual truth points, the robustness of the educational experiences that each of you in the graduating class will take with you, and the robustness of the training you can now apply to the world that awaits you and the communities that need you. We are all so excited for each and every one of you. Now here comes the TED Talk in less than 2 minutes. I'd like to share with you one design principle that I have seen work well throughout periods of evolutionary and revolutionary change, a principle that has enabled an exponential diversity of agents and actors to remain in communication with one another despite changes in media, bandwidth, context, and even physics. It is called the robustness principle, and to quote my favorite student of history, Taylor Mack, you can look it up on Wikipedia. You can, it's the robustness principle. It states, be conservative in what you do, be liberal in what you accept from others. This was an overarching design pattern for TCP/IP, the fundamental protocol of the internet. It is why so many of your devices and apps can talk with so many other devices and apps. And it's a useful principle for anyone who is trying to engage with others, and especially those who are, deep down, as human as you are. The Board of Trustees is committed to working with the Chancellor to achieve our strategic goals and to make UNCSA the recognized standard in conservatory training for the 21st century. Our commitment to excellence is the fundamental standard of our protocol. As we learn to adapt to ever wider ranges of what people expect and require from the arts, we will accept that, knowing that you too have the breadth, the depth, and the flexibility to accept an ever-expanding mission as well. And we hope that by remaining in communication with us, connecting back to us, perhaps even partnering or co-producing with us, we can together demonstrate to all the robust power of the arts to illuminate and inspire the excellence that resides within us all, and which, when activated, enables each of us to not only be our best selves, but also our true selves. Thank you.
On behalf of the faculty of the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, congratulations, graduates, parents, and faculty. Graduates primed with your knowledge, expertise, and artistry, the world awaits you. As a composer, I have collected 3 ideas from a variety of composers and a 4th of my own to offer you at this moment of celebration and stepping forward. From John Cage, I can't understand why people are frightened of new ideas. I'm frightened of the old ones. From Dmitry Shostakovich, a creative artist works on their next composition because they were not satisfied with their previous one. And from Robert Schumann, to send light into darkness, into the darkness of men's hearts, Such is the duty of the artist. And from me, my one most important advice to you is to listen. Listening is a fundamental part of being human. Watch an infant. Much of the first years of our lives are devoted to listening. It's our doorway to the language that connects us together. Listening is a form of mutual respect, understanding, and learning. It is a creative force. So embrace new ideas. Never be satisfied. Send light into darkness and listen. Bravo and congratulations, UNCSA, class of 2017.
Good morning. My name is Tariq Doril Ramos, and I served as the student body president this past academic year. I'll be graduating from the School of Dance. It is my honor to talk for a few minutes about the impact this school has had on this graduating class. Hillary Clinton said, "It takes a village to raise a child." And on behalf of the students sitting on stage today, we would like to say, thank you. Each of you in this room today played a huge role in our success and helped us get to this very special day. Congratulations, my fellow classmates. We've made it to the finish line. It was on Friday, June 21st, 1963, when the North Carolina General Assembly passed a bill establishing the North Carolina School of the Arts. It was on Tuesday, September 7th, 1965, that the first state-supported public school for performing arts in the United States opened its doors to dreamers, which coincidentally is the same year that President Lyndon B. Johnson signed into existence the National Endowment for the Arts. Mr. Johnson declared, "Art is a nation's most precious heritage, for it is in our works of art that we reveal to ourselves and to others the inner vision which guides us as a nation. And when there is no vision, the people perish." As we stand here today, we are the fruits of the vision that came before us. We are the living, breathing proof of all the hard work and movements for change that have guided us to this point. It was because of the vision of North Carolina Governor Terry Sanford, author John Ely, and the first UNCSA president, Victoria Giannini, that we were provided with a platform to develop our stories and create our own voice. Many of us came from places where we had no rigorous arts education, spaces to express our creativity, or way to fully hone our talents and realize our full potential. We entered this campus as aspiring actors, dancers, musicians, filmmakers, designers, technicians, painters, and storytellers. It's not a dream anymore, it's reality. Our founder's vision didn't allow for us to perish, but it gave us the opportunity to arrive, create, and give birth to this next chapter in our lives. We have the blessed opportunity to tell stories through art. Art humbles us as human beings and offers us the ability to celebrate what it means to live in this chaotic world. It helps us realize that what we do is not about us as artists. It's about what's composed from under your ballet shoe or bare feet, the notes on your sheet music, the paint applied on that blank canvas, the world that is created in front of the camera, or the stories that get portrayed every day on your TV, stage, or movie screen. It's embracing the huge impact we can have as artists. When they say artists are not politicians, they're right. But artists are the Misty Copelands, the Paul Tazwells, the Meryl Streeps, the Yo-Yo Ma's, and the Steven Spielbergs. We have the ability to bring people together using our art, to stimulate conversation and empower people to use their voice. Frederick Douglass, abolitionist and author, noted that if there is no struggle, there is no progress. And I am sure that the graduates present on this stage today can all attest to the validity of this statement, whether it was struggling through life away from home, early academic classes, rehearsals, productions, or even working late nights to finish assignments. As a result of these struggles, we can say we have become tenacious, more refined, and more intelligent versions of ourselves. Let's take this time to reflect on who we have become and who we can become. I spent these past 2 weeks reflecting on my time here, and I realized why I found it so hard to write this speech. Looking at you guys today, I memorize as how far we have come. Our first year, we all arrived on campus excited and nervous to be starting college, not knowing what to expect. I spent my first week hanging out with a great group of people, the Welcome Squad and the RAs. These groups created a sense of community and supported us through our transition to college. I remember the first moment I saw Susan Jaffe. I was speechless. All I could do was smile. It took some time, but I finally got comfortable entering this new chapter of my life and developed friendships with people inside and outside of my major. Second year, I became a member of the Welcome Squad, having appreciated the value and impact they had on my first year, and I wanted to do that for the incoming students. I don't know about you guys, but I remember this particular year as being intense and stressful. Reality set in as I grasped what I truly had gotten myself into. Third year, I was a member of the SGA Executive Council and understood why I was here at UNCSA. I had gone through 2 years of rigorous training at the school, but I appreciated the work because I was able to see the progress from first year to third year. Fourth year, I have been humbled to serve as your student body president. I have enjoyed representing your student voice and working to improve the campus culture. I have spent most of this final year wrestling with what it means to be a citizen artist, which I discovered by defining who I am as a human being and artist. Now we step into this next chapter of our lives and become impact artists. As alumni, it is important that we remain connected to the university and invest in its future. UNCSA is at a wonderful place with the current cabinet members, deans, faculty, and staff leading this institution. Support doesn't always have to be monetary, but we must find some way to give back. My mom always says, be nice to the people on the way up because you never know who you're going to meet on the way down. Always remember the people sitting on this stage and the people who've helped you get to this point. Many of our future opportunities and relationships are going to come from the network that we've built here these 4 years. We must acknowledge those who helped make our college experience possible. Ed Lewis, I pledge, as an alum, to donate $20 every month to the school. Today, graduates, that's $240 a year. I did the math. We have about 17,000, Amy, I believe, alum that we have on record. That would make about $4 million if we all just donated $240 a year. I hope that you can follow me on the pledge. Today, as we prepare to move forward, we must hold fast to those who have encouraged and grounded us throughout the years. Parents, families, friends, teachers, mentors, we thank you. Please continue to support us as we embark on our future endeavors. I'm going to try to not get emotional. Chancellor Bierman, thank you for your continued support and friendship. Your mentorship has been truly inspiring. I've learned so much from you as a leader. I would like to give a warm thank you to Dean Jaffe for your dedication, transparency, advice, and open-door policy with all of your students. I've learned so much from you, and our relationship is going to have a special place in my heart. I would also like to thank my dance faculty for challenging and supporting me throughout my time here. Provost English, you are the reason I'm giving this speech today. It was your Who Goes to College class that inspired me to run for president. I would like to thank the Student Affairs staff for always hearing my voice and supporting my endeavors to improve the campus culture for my fellow students. I will forever carry with me all I have gleaned from this experience. I'm going to miss you all. I can't wait to see how much this institution grows. We've accomplished so much this past year, and I look forward to its continuing advancement. Your guidance and support made it easier for us to touch the stars. Today, when I look at my classmates, I see constellations. If we take time to connect the dots, we can start to see the true shape and power of our artistry. Our passion to be citizen artists is not unlike that which guided Martin Luther King Jr. to have a dream, Gandhi to fight for Indian independence, or Elizabeth B. Canton and Susan B. Anthony to fight for women's right to vote. None of us were meant to be common. We were born to dwell among the stars. Now we must rise up and lift our voices. It's time to serve a higher creative purpose through the creative telling of our stories. By embracing our history and who we are, we will be able to come together and make a difference. Congratulations to my fellow peeps, and I can't wait to see all the amazing work you will do.
That was beautiful. All right, I got a runny nose. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Jeez. Whew. Every year. That's why we've got a box of tissue under here. Okay. Now, would all the parents, family, friends, spouses, and significant others please stand? You have supported these graduates with your love and financial support. Graduates, this is your time to thank them. And now I would like for all of our faculty and staff to please stand. I believe I can skip that part of the script, asking them to thank you. UNCSA is most fortunate to have a community of loyal benefactors, trustees, Giannini members, and tireless volunteers who contribute countless hours and ongoing financial and moral support for the school. I speak for everyone on this stage this morning in expressing our sincerest gratitude for all that these important supporters selflessly give. Please join me in expressing our sincere thanks for their continued support of UNCSA. And finally, the citizens and the elected representatives of the state of North Carolina have made a tremendous investment in your future. Approximately 60% of the cost of your education here was paid for by the taxpayers of this great and generous state. They deserve your profound gratitude, and I ask you all to applaud them, the people of North Carolina. The Giannini Society Award is one of UNCSA's most prestigious honors, and it is given in recognition of remarkable service to the school. Named in honor of Vittorio Giannini, composer and first president of the School of the Arts, The Giannini Society is a group of dedicated supporters of the university who seek to further our mission of providing world-class arts training to talented, dedicated young artists. This award is given annually to members of the society who have distinguished themselves through outstanding service and support. This year's recipients are Charles and Lamar Taft. The Tafts were introduced to UNCSA nearly 20 years ago by fellow Giannini Society members and previous Giannini Award recipients, Claire and Hudnall Christopher. Like many before them, the Tafts quickly fell in love with the students and dove headfirst into advocating for and supporting them. They served as chairs of the Giannini Society from 2004 to 2007 and hosted annual trips to New York City to see our alumni in action. In 2002, they created the Charles and Lamar Taft Endowment to support scholarships at UNCSA. In 2015, after a courageous battle with pancreatic cancer, Lamar passed away. In her memory, and in memory of other Giannini Society friends who are no longer with us, Charles provided the initial funding to endow the Giannini Society Memorial Scholarship. The scholarship will be awarded for the first time in the 2018-19 school year. Today, we honor Charles and Lamar with the 2017 Giannini Award for their extraordinary support of the school. We are so fortunate to call them friends and advocates. Please join me in congratulating Charles as he receives this well-deserved award. Charles, thank you. Thank you so much.
Very humble.
Thank you for all you do.
I wish Lamar were here. Thank you.
We are thrilled to have with us today Nancy Ceruto, Creative Show Executive for Walt Disney Imagineering, our University Commencement speaker. Thank you, Dean Michael Kelly, for persuading your longtime friend and Disney colleague to come to UNCSA to inspire our 2017 graduates. Perhaps no company is more iconic to our culture than Disney, and perhaps no company has greater impact on creative industries worldwide. As you'll read in your program, Nancy has more than 30 years of experience in delivering high-quality cultural and entertainment experiences. 10 years of that has been with Walt Disney Imagineering, where she led the creative development of Treasure Cove, a new land for Shanghai Disney Resort, and the Battle for Sunken Treasure, an all-new Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. That's also, by the way, where she worked with Dean Kelly from Design and Production. Shanghai Disney opened to worldwide acclaim last June. According to Fun World, the official magazine of the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions, when the first guests entered Shanghai Disney, they found a pristine park filled with some of the most advanced attractions the world has ever seen. One reviewer said, "The hype is deserved." Another said, "The technology that's employed there has never been seen before. Even if you've been on all the rides in the world, Pirates is going to blow you away." I only wish China weren't so far away. We need one on campus. Nancy, we got the labor force for you. Nancy comes to us from Disneyland Resort, where just a few days ago, she presented her story to the Themed Entertainment Association Summit. Late last year, she was the first woman ever to be invited to present at the Legends Forum of the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. She said, quote, "What we do here is an art form," she recently told Attractions Management magazine. "You can't just go to engineering school and learn how to build a ride. You have to build something relevant, but you really learn when you break into this field. When young people are coming to you and asking questions, you have to go back to the beginning and explain why you're doing what we're doing. It's not just about understanding the trade, it's about understanding the end goal and the interconnectivity of everyone else on the site. Art and engineering, or technology if you will, is the perfect amalgam for creativity in the 21st century that Disney embraces and that we teach in design and production and in all of our schools at UNCSA. Which is exactly why we're so excited to have this Disney wizard address our most recent class of innovators, artpreneurs, and Imagineers. I know you would rather see some of Nancy's work than hear me describe it, so let's take a look. Incredible. It is the custom of the university to confer honorary doctorates at each commencement ceremony. These honorary degrees are given by the institution as a means of recognizing outstanding contributions to the arts and to arts education. Our recipient this year is Nancy Cerruto, our commencement speaker, and our university provost, David English, will now read the resolution conferring the degree. Nancy, would you please step forward with David?
Whereas Nancy Cerruto has distinguished herself as a creative executive within the entertainment industry and is respected in the industry as an innovator and a dynamic leader. And whereas Ms. Cerruto joined Walt Disney Imagineering in 2010 to lead the creative development of Treasure Cove, a new land for the Shanghai Disney Resort, was the innovative force behind the battle for sunken treasure, an all-new Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, and was charged with directing one of the most complex attraction design efforts Walt Disney has ever undertaken, raising the bar of design industry-wide. And whereas Ms. Cerruto, as president of Cerruto & Company, designed, produced, and consulted on large-scale exhibitions and projects such as Tutankhamun for AEG and America I Am for the Smiley Group. And whereas Ms. Cerruto brings a rare blend of business acumen and creative talent to her over 30 years of work in the entertainment industry, building highly collaborative teams with an integrative leadership style that balances innovation and practicality. Be it resolved, we, the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, do hereby recognize the considerable accomplishments of Nancy Cerruto and grant to her the degree of Honorary Doctor of Fine Arts.
Wow. Thank you so much, Chancellor Lindsey Berman, to Marty Kotis, representing the Board of Governors, to Michael Tiemann, representing the Board of Trustees, to Provost David English, the student body president, Tariq Ramus, so inspiring, to the deans, faculty, administrators, and staff of the University of North Carolina School of the Arts. Thank you so much for welcoming me to this incredible day in this fantastic institution. Thank you. A special thank you to my dear friend and colleague of so many years, Dean Michael Kelly, for reaching out to me and offering me this opportunity. Thank you so much, Michael. And most of all, I want to acknowledge you. Hard work and passion and excellence has led you to this great moment in your lives. I can see the world is on its way to being a better, more compassionate, and imagine a future with you. I look at you, and what I see is hope. So congratulations to the 2017 graduating class of the University of North Carolina and the School of the Arts. You know, today's a pretty big moment for me, too, to be asked to give a commencement speech, to be given this honor. And it's triggered an interesting process of self-reflection. And looking at all of you, I can't help but stop and think about the day I sat in that chair and with a cap and gown and pondered my own future. And to be honest, when I was asked to do this speech today, I first wondered, you know, what do I have to offer you all? I still see myself as one of you as a student. I'm still searching, still learning, and I think my journey's just begun. So I was a bit worried, actually, because I thought what might be expected of me today is to illustrate clearly how I got here, but to show you some sort of roadmap. But truthfully, I have to say, I'm not really sure how I got here. Things just evolved from one thing to the next. I've always been so focused on projects, one project after another, that the long-range plan was often difficult to see. What I was plotting for myself when I started out is not at all how things turned out. My personal journey to where I am today has been anything but well-mapped or carefully executed. Frankly, it's a bit of a messy story and a blur of 100 projects, some successes and some failures, and with many changes of direction. But I've made my way, and I've been blessed with a rich career, and somehow all those experiences mixed with the inevitable passage of time has landed me here today speaking to you. So what do you learn after a long career in the arts is that you're only as good as your last project. So it's my great good fortune that my last one turned out to be a great one. But there was a long road here, so let me share some of the twists and the turns in case my lessons ring a bell for you and provide you some food for thought. There is an overarching theme to my journey, and before I share the details, let's just talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about a career in the arts. And those two words are so filled with a natural tension that the choice to pursue a career in the arts has been for me a lifelong journey in seeking the balance between my instinct to be creative and the necessity for survival. And it might be worth starting right here because all else really connects to it. Since my early childhood, really all I wanted to be was an artist, any kind of artist. I wanted to dance, I don't know, like Fred Astaire, and I wanted to paint like Van Gogh or sing like, well, anybody who could sing. Sound familiar? My love of the arts is what drove me right to the point you're at today. But a career in the arts, now that has turned out to be a very different thing than I imagined in the beginning. A career suggests you have a plan, a career path, something that starts here and ends there predictably in a profession where you're productive and well paid and respected. But to achieve that level of success in the arts is inherently more complicated and less predictable than other career roads. But it's also exciting and challenging, and I'm here today to tell you it's entirely possible and extremely worth it. So be brave and be confident, because you all have already shown you are bright, disciplined, and creative people. You are blessed with an inventive spirit, which gives you just the right skill set to make it. But as in every good story, there is a villain. You will face that one obstacle we as humans all share, and that is, of course, fear. Fear is a normal and instinctual reaction to starting anything new. But learning to manage fear has been my biggest challenge for me personally. And so let me share with you how I've learned to grapple with it. So now, after learning and being held back actually by fear many times, when fear has kept me from stepping onto the bigger stage or stopping me from trying something new, I've learned to turn and face it. I treat fear as my enemy. I visualize it standing in my way. And often I imagine myself actually as a basketball player, works for me, trying to get to the net, all those people waving their hands, trying to grab the ball. And I see that's fear standing between me and sinking that basket. So spin, turn, dribble, take it head on, whatever strategy works best for you. Just sink the basket. Everyone who works with me now is surely sick of my basketball analogy, but it works for me. You'll find your own. And I don't want to make light of fear, because of all the things you face along the way, people getting in your way, or lack of money, or just bad luck, the toughest one is going to be fear. That fear that comes up from deep inside you, that fear of failing, can be formidable. This quote from J.K. Rowling is just so brilliant, I have to share it with you. I go to it often. It's impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might not as well have lived at all, in which case you failed by default. So look, clearly you have chops already because you made it here today. You know in your heart that creative work is your unique calling, and so you've chosen to get your education in it, and now you're willing to dare everything in front of you. So hold on to what you believe, despite the known sure bets in many other lines of work, despite any fears that crop up along the way. If you pursue what you love and love what you do, you will be successful. So a career in the arts is just more complicated than others. So you need to be flexible and keep an open mind and roll with the punches and think on your feet. It can definitely be challenging, but so what? Fear, wad it up, take that three-point shot right at that trash can. Right, Michael? So this is something Michael and I did in meetings all the time. So now let's assume we filed fear in its proper place and talk a little bit more about the idea of a career in the arts. As an artist, to play or to write music, to perform, to make a film, to design or paint or even create a theme park attraction requires you be in touch with a pretty special place inside you. You've got to open up your heart and reach into your soul and give it your all, right? And that requires empathy. Empathy with what it means to be a human in order to create work that touches your audience. It means you're open to beauty, to know what it is to love and to feel pain and to respect and to be open to the people and the world around you, because the world is your inspiration. To create, you need to be vulnerable and be empathetic. But to keep advancing in a career, well, that assumes that money and business matters come into play. And unless you're independently wealthy, at some point, you will be trusted to create a work of art for somebody else, funded by somebody else. You'll be creating with what we in the biz call OPM, other people's money. So no matter if that project is a big one or a small one, to be trusted to create something for someone else represents an act of faith in you. And this, I believe, is a sacred trust. To do well, you will need to listen and to respond to the needs and aspirations of the project and find a professional way to bring your own value to it. You'll need to have a certain amount of armor in place so you don't take every criticism of your work product personally. And remember that no matter how deep you had to dig to create it, your work is not you. And that some things, like how much money someone's willing to pay you, are just business. And at the same time, you have to keep that vulnerability, to push yourself to artistic excellence and creativity in order to deliver on the dreams of the individuals who have put so much trust in your ability to do just that. This is the delicate balance between vulnerability and armor, and it's been at the heart of my journey. And my experience is unique, and yours will be unique, and my story no more enlightening than your story will be. But I will share some of the key chapters with you, the push and the pull between my instinct to be creative and the road to building a career while striving to keep that balance. So it starts with college. And as incredulous as it seemed to a girl who used to sit in the back seat of every algebra class because she found it so incomprehensible and cry, I found myself in college in the pre-med program at UC San Diego. And that wasn't exactly a choice. It was the result of a protracted battle with my powerful, beautiful Sicilian father, who was not convinced that college education in the arts was a practical necessity at all, and definitely not for a girl. Look, my father grew up in Sicily in the 1920s. I grew up in California in the 1960s. We weren't only from different eras, we were from different cultures, and I think maybe different planets. So we fought about this constantly through high school, and I exhausted my poor mother, who tried to keep it civil. And one day, in one of those battles, my dad let it slip that maybe if I wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, that might make sense. So, I changed my strategy, and digging deep into my natural acting ability, I declared my intent to become a famous woman doctor. And so it worked. I worked on my grades, and after I got into the pre-med program at UC San Diego. But after a few moments in San Diego, I found myself in 1974 and steeped in a great counterculture among all kinds of artists, and I quickly started to merge back into that world. And more classes started appearing, like documentary filmmaking and acting and music appreciation, and by the third quarter I had quite a few of those racked up with A's, and organic chemistry C, calculus C, and that was it. Game over, end of college, fully funded college career, and I had to quit school and get to work. So, okay, what happens when you're thrown a curveball like that after the dust settles? What do you do when a lack of funds or family disapproval gets between you and your dream? You just get to work. You take every job you can to make the rent, to keep your 10-year-old Volkswagen running another 10 years. And I got jobs. I got mostly manual work at first. I washed buckets, coiled audio cable, loaded trucks, helped iron costumes, anything to stay close to theater. But I was there 100% and worked hard, acted grateful for the paying gig, even if it didn't pay anything. But in retrospect, what I was doing was practicing at being a professional. I was building a reputation around my character, getting known for my willingness to work hard, for being honest and having integrity. So along this crazy road to becoming a professional in the arts, you may do many things. But if you're not known as a person with integrity, someone who can be counted on, the road ahead will be much tougher. Being great at what you do might be enough, but being great at what you do and being a great person to work with, that's a slam dunk. So my first break, after about a year of working around town, I finally worked full-time in theater. Through a grants program, I get a job at the newly formed San Diego Repertory Theater. And I was exposed to brilliant professional actors, designers, directors, I did everything there. I was a sponge. I took it all in, and I was actually getting paid for the first time to do what I dreamed of. And while working for the rep, I continued to take college classes, and I made a little extra money freelancing around town as a lighting designer. I played piano in a restaurant for ballet classes and for a few plays. But I was finally on a road that looked much more pointed at a life in theater than, say, well, medical school. And Dad started to soften his stance. I think maybe he respected that I was so passionate and I kept at something that I loved. And eventually he came back around and I got my graduate degree from Cal State Long Beach. It took me about 8 years to get there, but through all those detours. So then freelance after school, very quickly. Let me take you through a few moves post-college. I'm in my late 20s now. I plunge myself into LA theater and dance. I get a job on a stage crew for the Summer Dance Festival, which results in my designing lighting for several dance companies. And quickly connect to a lot of regional arts groups. I get the opportunity to tour all around the country, to go on tour in Europe and Asia. I work in theaters, large and small, and I support myself this way modestly. But then I discover I can paint on film sets and make more money in a day than I can in a month doing lighting. And so I switch. The VW bug is on its last leg, and rent in LA is steep, and I need to make some dough. So I make a right turn. I find I'm not that bad at scenic painting, and so I get paid paying gigs, painting backdrops, and this leads me into the film and television industry. And I work on a lot of small independent movies in LA, and I have to say truly horrible movies. Really horrible movies. And someday we'll have the truly horrible movie film festival, and we can watch them all with a bucket of popcorn and a keg of beer so I can drown my embarrassment. But it does lead to something. I eventually get hired full-time at a growing shop that builds sets for film and television, and after a couple years, I wind up managing the art department and managing that shop, and I worked there for 15 years. And that's where I learned a lot about business. This company grows from 20 to 250 people, and at 30 years old, I step up as the vice president, and out I go, managing lots of people, estimating, negotiating contracts. I learned about workman's comp and labor laws and tax laws. I learned to speak a whole new language called accountant, called lawyer. And I did it by reading a lot of books and at night on business and leadership. I took some workshops and eventually we built a really successful shop with lots of great people and great projects, including Dean Michael Kelly. But still hungry for design, I eventually built a design department there. And as the company grows, I find myself managing people who get to do cool stuff, but I never get to do the cool stuff. So too many degrees of separation, completely out of balance. So I decide it's time to start my own company. So after 15 years of running a scenery business, I start a company called Cerruto & Company, and the idea is that I keep it small at its core and stay closer to the creative work and align with independent contractors, designers, artists, and smaller firms, and all together we'll tackle big projects. And why would I do that? I mean, of all the things in a career in the arts, starting up your own business is probably the riskiest. And the fear instinct is high here, and it should be high. But I did it because of the possibility of controlling my own destiny, shaping my own path, and building a community of professionals around a common goal. Win or lose, it would be under my own volition, consequences of my own decision-making, and I could hopefully steer myself back into design. And with all the work I had done before, pretty quickly we had clients and contracts and focused on designing and producing exhibitions. And you heard of some of the things we did, so I won't repeat them. But this kind of work is incredibly rewarding. It exposes you to people who think differently, to experts in all kinds of fields, to a cultural depth of understanding that you wouldn't in just a casual acquaintance. It's a very, very rich line of work. We loved bridging the world of educational institution and theater. People came to us because we were storytellers, and we could use that skill set to bring a unique approach to the exhibition market. So with just a few key staff and a sharp-witted business partner, we're small but mighty, and we're profitable enough to keep a small business ahead. And we were celebrating in 10 years in business when a new opportunity arises for me personally to work on an international project of tremendous scale for Walt Disney Imagineering. And the opportunity comes from a director of the project, an individual I have deep respect and admiration for, Bob Weiss. And Bob was a client of ours at Cerruto, and we did several projects as his producers, and this grew into a terrific collaboration. So the Shanghai Disney Resort was a huge, huge leap for me in so many ways. I had not worked in the theme park industry since I started my company, and never at this scale. And at first I treaded lightly. I started consulting and debated a bigger role, knowing it would mean living away from home for long periods of time, 2 years actually, that it would necessitate I leave the company I had built and was so proud of. And I never planned for this, nor expected that this would be my next adventure, yet here it was. And so I weighed all the pluses and minuses, and I took the plunge, and at that moment of realization, when I joined this team as a producer, was like really any other moment in my life. I felt like Indiana Jones, about to take that step across that huge canyon, and I just had to trust the bridge would appear before me as I took each step. And it did. And it did because I was ready, because everything I had done to this point, as haphazard as it may seem, added up to something and helped me navigate this new world successfully. And if the balancing act between creativity and business is a challenge in your early career, it's good to have that figured out so that when you hit the high-stakes game like this, a large-scale international project where the challenges on both sides of the equation are enormous, that you're ready. But also know that the breadth of talent on a project of this scale is astounding. I mean, what you saw was the work of thousands of people. And when you realize you're in the midst of greatness like this, supported by a large organization like Imagineering, with all kinds of brilliant people, fear starts to subside, and it's overtaken by tremendous excitement. So this opportunity to work on this project with an international team opens up your thinking about who you are and how you fit in the world in a way I'm really still searching to describe. I hope that you never shy away from an opportunity like that. So in conclusion, as you work in a career in the arts, you will accumulate a lot of lessons along the way. As a creative person, you'll work in lots of different situations with many people. You will learn from them, they will learn from you. You will find that as an artist, you have a unique way of seeing and being and feeling, and there's high value in it, so you must hold on to it and nurture it and be true to yourself. You will find that the business world is navigable and that your creativity is a huge asset here as well. You'll learn to trust your instincts and be strategic about how you perform professional work, and that fear is just a 4-letter word that can be written on a piece of paper and tossed over your shoulder. Know that you are special, but also be humble. The more you open yourself up to the greatness of others, to what the world has to teach you, the richer life will be. In the process of listening and accepting and trying different ways of working and seeing the world, you change, your eyes open. The more you challenge the limits of your own preconceptions, the limits of your own knowledge, culture, and experience, the richer creative work will be. Balancing a career in the arts is a lifelong journey. It's a journey in understanding humanity and navigating the complexities of the world. Embrace it, its ambiguities and its complexities. It is life at the fullest. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ceruto. Chancellor Bierman, at this time, we would like to present to you the candidates for graduation and to confer their certificates and degrees. All candidates for graduation, please stand. Chancellor Bierman, these candidates have completed all requirements for the University of North Carolina School of the Arts for receiving the appropriate Professional Artist Certificate, Master of Music degree, Master of Fine Arts degree, Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, or Bachelor of Music degree, and they have been approved for graduation by the administration and the faculty of the school.
And by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the University of North Carolina and by the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, with the faculty concurring, I confer upon you the appropriate certificate or degree with all rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Graduates, please be seated. Much like your UNCSA experience, Walt Disney said, "There's more treasure in books than in all the pirates' loot on Treasure Island." Arrgh, shiver me timbers! Bring on those diplomas. The Master of Fine Arts degree will now be awarded to the candidates from the School of Design and Production. Joining me on stage is the Dean of Design and Production, Michael Kelly. Graduates, please come forward. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Troy Joseph Dewey.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Troy.
Luke Joseph Landwehr. Sitchi Ma. Daniel M. Martell. Jillian Marielle Page. Raina Claire Parker. Catherine E. Patterson. Chelsea Jeanette Rador. Doreen Leah Ramsey. Grace Helen Schmitz.
The Master of Fine Arts degree will now be awarded to the candidates from the School of Filmmaking. Joining me on the stage is the Associate Dean of Filmmaking, Henry Grillo. Graduates, please come forward.
Sarah Ann Brandt. Litong Chen. Campbell C. Flood. Austin Imani Howard. Christina Doreen Velez.
The Professional Artist Certificate will now be awarded to the graduates from the School of Music. Joining me on stage is the Dean of Music, Brian Cole. Graduates, please come forward.
Kyle Greeny. Kelly Marie Hammond. John Elias Kaner.
The Master of Music degree will now be awarded to the candidates from the School of Music. Graduates, please come forward.
Timothy H. Bachman. Sammy Catherine Udy. Nia Imani Franklin. Kendra Autumn Harding. Avital Mazur. Lindsay Alyssa Metcher. Luson Bradley Smith. Marie Smith. Sarah Elizabeth Van Skyke. Shushen Wang. Yunhe Chow.
The Bachelor of Fine Arts degree will now be awarded to the graduates of the School of Dance. Joining me on stage is the Dean of Dance, Susan Jaffe. Graduates of the School of Dance, please come forward.
Emily Elizabeth Benzie. Sarah Catherine Bukowski. Alexis Noel Campbell. Hannah Kathleen Church. Elizabeth Charlene Curtin. Andy Yamil Fernandez. Sierra Elaine Flood. Mara Estelle Gordon. Kristen Wallace Hedberg. Emily Eva Hopfenberg. Colby Caroline Johnson. Heidi Joelle Langner. Holly Catherine Larson. Dane Leanna. Caitlin Brooke Lovett. Hannah Nicole Marr. Saki Morimoto. Catherine Malia Newman. Garrett Joseph Parker. Brooke Christina Parton. Anthony Santos. Rosa Igorevna Sabayeva. Casey Melinda Stone. Rebecca Joy Vandover. Madeline Christine Whitman. Lissa Kate Wopat. Tariq Doril Ramos.
The Bachelor of Fine Arts degree will now be awarded to the graduates of the School of Design and Production. Joining me on stage is the Dean of Design and Production, Michael Kelly. Graduates from the School of Design and Production, please come forward.
Patrick C. Angle.
Congratulations.
Chelsea Susan Bednar. Camden Connor Blizzard. Chicago Nathaniel Brown. Erin Amanda Bullock. Zena Jordan Caskey. Ashley Garnett Collins. Evan Michael Cook. Grayson Walker Delaney Cusimano. Elizabeth Ann Destante. Wendy Marie Drescher. Daniel Frederick Epstein. Zachary Michael Favu. Allison Margene Frimmel. Ashton Miles Gottschalk. Francesca Eleanor Iorio. Jordan Matthew Jeffers. Andrew Michael Jerry. Evelyn Faith Carmi. Dylan Marie Kay. Lorenzo Charles Lagola. Noam Michael Lotman. Hannah Elizabeth Lewis Marlowe. Andrew Anthony Lecote. Abigail Grace May. Shelby Alexis Mills. Joseph Naftal. Jennifer Andrea Oriana. Emily Hope Potter. Bailey B. Powell. Elizabeth Puchstow. Tyler Quentin Roach. Alexa May Ross. Dylan Tyler Rudemiller. Graham Thomas Schwartz. Connor William Schwartz. Morgan Marie Sellers. Joshua Ryan Sheldon. Brianna Marie Skinnon. Benjamin G. Steiner. Matthew McStevenson Tillett. Willow Watson. Elizabeth Claire White. Kira Elizabeth Whitman. Emily Erin Young.
Dean Carl Forsman will now join me on the stage. And the Bachelor of Fine Arts degree will be awarded to the graduates of the School of Drama.
Graham Dunning Baker. Spencer Christian Bang. Eleanor Breeden Bellamy. Ariel Nima Blake. Kelsey Elizabeth Buterball. Emily Kate DeForest. Timothy James Doyen II. Emma Frances Factor. Matthew Thomas Foley. Samuel Michael Joffrey. Niall Harris. Richard Reed Horsley. Anthony Edward Jenkins. Christian Autanel Jimenez. Stephen Lee Kime. Lori Francis Kozowski. Elizabeth Harper McCarthy. Chessa Madison Metz. Cameron Elizabeth Morton. Patrick Robert Nolan. Joshua Jacob Pagan. Isaac Cole Powell. Charles William Robinson. Robert Emmett Temple. Mary Madison Valerie. Ricky Allen Watson. Emily Catherine Wider.
Henry Grillo, Associate Dean of the School of Filmmaking, will now join me on the stage to award the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts to the graduates of the School of Filmmaking. Graduates of the School of Filmmaking, please come forward.
Clayton Giles Agalis. Margaret Noel Alleman. William Israel Bethel. Sierra Riley Bezdecka. Pablo Luis Bobadilla. Torrin Edward Bradshaw. Robert A. Brody. Ryan Andrew Savali. Douglas Cecil Coughlin. Thomas Matthew Corradini. Aiden James Crowley. Lun Darren Dye. Adrian Sommer Damasceno. Zachary Andrew Deal. Jacqueline Reed Dervey. Zachary Paul Durfer. Christopher Michael Dold. Andrew Harrison Dole. Jesse Terania Einhorn Johnson. Alexander Warren Fleming. Caitlin Athena Fleming. Elizabeth M. Fletcher. Rebecca Marie Gomez. Moira Elise Grem. Rebecca Ann Hewitt. Sam Henry Hickey. Tyler L. Hickman. Joseph Lee Honig. Barrett Lawrence J. Michael Joseph Kaufman. Graham Hamilton Kennedy. Chad David Knuth. Alexander Christopher Kozinski. Jessica Selena Kuhn. Gavin Wade Langford. Edward Joseph Loop. Maria Cristina Marrero. John Kelby Mathis. Melanie Maria Maupin. James Clark McAlerney. Jonathan Daniel McCarter. Martin Garcia McCarthy. Emery Lewis McGahey. Ryan David Morris. Mitchell Mehar Perrin. Isaac Samuel Phillips London. Connor Charles Pollard. Natalie Marie Rivas. Sean Christopher Rooney. Matthew Hosam Rovetto. Victoria Joanne Rupert. Jesse Coyote Sanchez Strauss. Samuel Edward Scott. Addison Nicole Sharp. Kahe Shum. Andrew Snee. Alexander Julian Schultes. Kristen Ann Spalding. Jared Lee Sprouse. Kevin James Tonhauser. Alexander Richard Thomas. Jason Thomas. Eric Emil Thomasounas. Julian Robert Tran. Randall Gray Underwood. Blake E. Vaughn. Arthur James Wagner. Thomas Edgar Wakefield. Marcus Daniel Watson. Elida Ibigum Yidget. Carrie Ann Zastro.
Brian Cole, Dean of the School of Music, will now join me on stage to award the Bachelor of Music degree to the graduates of the School of Music. graduates from the School of Music please come forward?
Imani Barber. Caleb James Carpenter. Drake Michael Duffer. Madeline Megan Hardy. John Joseph Hauser. Samantha R. Johnson. Morgan Brienne Leatherwood. Zachary Tyler Mackey. David Matthew Mays. Alexandra Monica Paulus. Kevin David Perryman. Samantha May Richardson. Teresa Elizabeth Rose. Elizabeth Ann Santos. Alexander Chadwick Umfleet. Anastasia Yarbrough.
I think so. Right at it if not. It's up there. Yeah.
Congratulations once again, class of 2017! All right! So we welcomed you fresh out of high school with great expectations. Your talent got you in. Your grit got you through, right? Takes grit. And your grace under pressure will serve you wherever you go from here. Trust me. Our deans, faculty, administrators, staff, and supporters watched your transformation as artists and citizens, and we couldn't be more proud. I'm sure most of you recall the moment, years before you got here, when you came out to your family as an artist. Bet you were wondering where I was going with that. Parents, let's be honest. Some of you took the news pretty hard at first. You might have hoped for finance, law, engineering, science, technology, engineering, or math. But you knew in your heart that your child has a rare gift and a passion that must be valued and nurtured. That success is defined by doing what you love and loving what you do. That your child's unique voice, discipline, and passion would be more fully developed and appreciated in a collegial community of artists like UNCSA. That being true to oneself and listening to one's inner voice can lead to the richest and most rewarding life of all. I'd like to leave you with one of my favorite passages from a book by Frederick Buechner, the Presbyterian minister and author of more than 30 works of fiction and nonfiction, where he basically describes success better than I ever could as finding and answering your true calling. He writes, "The voice we should listen to most as we choose a vocation is the voice that we might think we should listen to least. And that is the voice of our own gladness. What can we do that makes us gladdest? What can we do that leaves us with the strongest sense of sailing true north and of peace, which is much of what gladness is? Is it making things with our hands out of wood or stone or paint on canvas? Or is it making something we hope like truth out of words? Or is it making people laugh or weep in a way that cleanses their spirit? I believe that if it is a thing that makes us truly glad, then it is our thing, and it is the calling voice that we were made to answer with our lives. In a world where there is so much drudgery, so much grief, so much emptiness and fear and pain, our gladness in our work is as much needed as we ourselves need to be glad. If we keep our eyes and ears open, our hearts open, we will find the place surely. I honor all of the exceptional, aspiring, and emerging artists on this stage and across our campus who answered a calling to dance, play an instrument, act, direct, write, edit, make costumes, build sets, follow all kinds of creative dreams and pursuits. It pains me greatly to hear these concentrations described by anyone or even dismissed as soft subjects by so many of today's education policymakers. Maybe they really are soft subjects. Maybe they really are soft subjects because I've seen our students and all of you on this stage soften up even the hardest of hearts. I mean that. Don't make me cry. The talent it takes to make people laugh or weep or wonder, or to bring even fleeting moments of joy into a world seemingly fixated on violence and vanity, that talent is a gift and a vocation we should hold dear and sacred. That talent, your talent, can be channeled into a meaningful and impactful life's work that changes and inspires the world. It can transform a thrilling and thriving global arts and entertainment industry. It is the reason I stand on this stage today. It is my gladness to fight for all of you and all artists to assume your rightful place in our culture and society. And on a lighter note, over the next hour, that was a joke. I wish to end this ceremony with the words of one great artist to another. The words are by Martha Graham, a pioneer of American modern dance, and they were addressed to another great choreographer and dancer, Agnes DeMille, one of the great founding mothers of our great University of North Carolina School of the Arts. DeMille had just seen a revival of her cowboy ballet, Rodeo, and she wrote, "The work wasn't good enough. All changed, all passed. There was no way of ensuring lasting beauty. I spoke of this to Martha Graham outside of Schraff's restaurant. She bowed her head and looked burningly into my face." Here, to voice Martha Graham's response to Agnes DeMille, is a radiant actress and a dear friend to UNCSA, wife to writer John Ely, whose imagination conjured the School of the Arts. She has been nominated for 9 Tony Awards, winning for The Lion in Winter, and 7 Drama Desk Awards, winning 5. She is known to millions of people across the world as Aunt May in the Spider-Man film series. Please welcome the incomparable Rosemary Harris.
It's a very great honor to share the stage with the graduates of 2017. Excuse me, I'm all choked up with emotion. That'll happen a lot, I think you'll all find as you go along. Anyway, the words that Martha Graham said to Agnes DeMille were these: "There is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all of time, this action, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist in any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to decide, to determine how good it is, nor how valuable, nor how it compares with other expressions. But it is your business to keep it yours, clearly and directly. Keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work, but you have to keep yourself open to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction whatever in any form. There is only a queer, divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching.
The incredible Rosemary Harris. Thank you. I also wish to thank the parents and loved ones once again for sharing these extraordinary young people with us at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts. Thank you, graduates, for letting us be a part of your lives during these formative years and for giving us such joy day after day and for enriching our lives. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, audience members, please remain in your seats to allow the platform party, graduates, and faculty to recess out of the theater. And graduates, please recess to the street in front of the Stevens Center where it is no longer raining. And again, yes, congratulations to you all. Thank you.